Hello, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. My name is Bridget Factor. I'm a certified nutritional therapy practitioner, and I'm here to answer your questions today. This is Q&A Tuesday. If you are on and watching, please post a comment and let me know that you are here. I'm going to give people a couple of minutes to hop on. Actually, not a couple of minutes, just a few seconds to hop on if they are on Facebook and want to connect. So while we're waiting for some people to hop on, I'm going to give my disclaimer that the information presented during this video is for educational purposes only, and that if you are dealing with a medical condition, you need to seek the help and advice of a licensed healthcare provider. So again, thank you for being here. Last week we talked about the ketogenic diet, and so I wanted to segue into more about fine-tuning our carbohydrate intake. So I know that can be confusing for people, and I wanted to kind of share my thoughts about that today. Last week we talked about a ketogenic diet being a very low carbohydrate diet, so taking in less than 50 grams of carbohydrate per day, and how that can be helpful for certain populations. It can be helpful for people that have neurological conditions. It can be helpful for people to accelerate fat loss, and it may not necessarily be the best thing for everybody, and it is also probably not the best thing to be on for a long-term plan. So let's talk about how to decide your carbohydrate level intake. So the next step up from that is a low carb diet, which is about 50 grams to 75 grams of carbohydrate intake per day. Now, carbohydrates I'm talking about are going to be things like your vegetables, your non-starchy vegetables, your starchy vegetables, fruits, grains, legumes, and also dairy has some carbohydrate in it as well. So we're looking at the grams of carbohydrate total when I'm talking about this. So this is the low carb, meaning 50 to 75 grams a day, is a good place to be if you are dealing with some metabolic issues, some blood sugar issues, some inflammation, those kind of things. And also if you're just not very active. So that's a good starting place for some people if that fits where you're at. The next step up is the moderate carbohydrate diet. This is going to be from 75 grams to 150 grams of carbohydrate per day. This is going to be a great place if you are moderately active, where you're working out a couple times a week, or if you're under a moderate amount of stress. So the extra carbohydrate is needed to fuel your activity level or to help you kind of handle your stress levels, because your body has a certain metabolic demand if you're under a lot of stress, and so you need to help support your body through that. The next level up is what I consider a high carbohydrate diet, but I know that according to conventional wisdom, it may even still be considered a low carb diet, but it's between 150 grams to 300 grams of carbohydrate. And this is a good starting place for most people if you're eating a standard American diet and want to start making changes. This is the place where if you where I start people, like if they're doing the 40% carbs, 30% fat, 30% protein, that's a good starting place for a lot of people. This is where you're going to be in that 150 to 300 grams of carbohydrate range. So this is also a good place for you if you are really, really active, like you work out every day, or you work out, like do endurance type workouts where you're working out for longer than an hour. And so this is where the range that you will need to be in. Now, let's talk about sourcing those carbohydrates. We want to make sure we're getting as much nutrition out of those carbohydrates as possible. So we want to get what I call nutrient-dense sources. So those are going to be like your vegetables, your non-starchy vegetables, even some of your starchy vegetables like sweet potatoes and butternut squash. Those can be really good sources as well. You can also get some of your nutrition from beans and some of your carbohydrate nutrition from whole grains, and I don't mean whole grain bread. I mean actual grains that are still unprocessed, like buckwheat or rice, those kind of things. So we just want to go back to eating our whole natural foods and getting rid of the refined foods, refined flours, refined sugars, because those are actually stealing nutrition from our body. So that's what I have to talk about today. I really appreciate you guys who are here. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, post questions. If you have more questions, share this group with your friends. I would love to kind of expand this group, and I really want to know what you guys are interested in so I can help address that through each of these sessions. So thank you again for being here, and until next time, we'll see you next week. Bye.